Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Brian here. It's the Art of Startup War. The Art of Startup War has got one objective and one objective only, and that is to take companies that Expert Dojo have invested in and to share our great knowledge with all of those other wonderful investors out there so you get the benefit of all of our diligence. Now, we do this in a nice, fun, and entertaining way so you can do 30 minutes of just fun and games with us and get to know the founder and what they're doing. Our feeling, and I will say especially so with this particular founder, is that the company that you are about to hear is something truly special and that they have the ability to break through in just a monster way. HAPPYBOND, I would multiply that by 100 since the first time I met with Anja. And I know I shouldn't really be talking about the product because I'm about to ask her, but from the very first time, I was so excited about what the product was going to evolve to in the future. I felt that nothing in the US compared to what HAPPYBOND could be. So hopefully that teases you a little and gets you ready. Anja, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again.
So tell us all about HAPPYBOND. Tell us about, first of all, a little bit about the genesis of the idea and where you started, but then I want to move really quickly to where we're going to, because you've evolved so much over the last year. You've raised money, you've brought in institutional investors, you now have like new products which are coming out, but just remind us where it all started.
Yeah, I mean, it started first with my dog, Tony. I'm a scientist and worked in cartilage tissue engineering. And my dog, Tony, was a passionate skateboarder, bulldog, not the most talented one, but passionate. And he has arthritis in his shoulder. So I created our first product for him to get back on the skateboard, which is now holding 2 US patents. And we extended that line for every age. It's a collagen-based joint supplement. That's how it all started. But then looking into the pet industry in general, I feel it hasn't evolved much. There's not much innovation, and it's missing that true ingredients, transparent, science-backed, and really functional nutrition for dogs that are human grade that we can share with our dogs. So that's how I started HAPPYBOND.
Fantastic. And then you really grinded it on your own. Like, it's so difficult at the beginning. And I think when investors are coming into founders, there are moments of belief, right? And at the beginning, it's incredibly hard because you're fighting it's so difficult. You're trying to get into the stores and you're trying to get into retail and you're trying to get distributors to take you on board. And you're trying to convince everybody of like what makes it different from everything in the shelves. And so now it's a different ballgame. Like, you're in so much retail, and the brand is loved across the board. But talk us through that journey of coming out, bringing the product to market, then convincing the retail to actually bring you in with them and getting a belief in the product itself.
Yeah, it all started with aligning with a celebrity that I helped his dog to run again, Cesar Milan. That was our first celebrity endorsement, and he helped us a lot to get to market. And we started in a DTC channel. So our approach is omni-channel. We believe the consumer has now many ways to touch point with a product, not just one linear way. It's multiple touch points, and we want to offer that to the consumer in every way we can. But through the journey, we aligned with 2 more celebrities. They loved the story of Tony, got inspired, tried our products, and then trusted the brand to create a line with us, including Halle Berry and Ziggy Marley. But from that omni-channel and moving into our new product line, which is the hero product of the brand, it's a fresh human grade dog food that is shelf stable for over 2 years, without using sustainable glass jar. So you see the transparency here, which is truly a retail product. So we moved from that DTC subscription-based service of collagen and other products into the retail stores. And we really, really fortunate to just be onboarded with the biggest nationwide distributor in the pet industry. So starting with 80 plus pet specialty stores late last year, moving into grocery, being an Erewhon, all that brought our products now more into the eyes of the consumers that might still order online to get a better deal on subscription, but being exposed in all these outlets has grown the brand and gave us a lot of visibility for sure.
And you did a phenomenal job with the celebrities and getting them engaged. And they did so because they love their dogs, right? And
Sure.
talk to us a little bit about like what that journey was like with Caesar first, and then also with Halle Berry and Ziggy Marley as well. All phenomenal personalities, all great dog lovers. But what was it that like moved them from just loving dogs to loving what you were doing for dogs?
In Caesar's case, it was easy. His dog Junior suffered. He couldn't really run. He was on pain relief and he tried everything that was on the market. When I tried to get a meeting with him, which honestly took a long time because nobody wanted to just schedule a meeting with me. But I convinced him. And in the end, I just had him to try it. And he actually said, I tried it all. My vet told me there is nothing to do. And 3 weeks later, he called me and said, you know what? He's off pain relief and he's running again. So how can I help you? And that was the start of our partnership. And it's now more friendship evolved out of that. But with the other celebrities, I would say I've never been going out to try to get celebrity partnerships. It was more, they came to us because they wanted to work with scientists. They wanted to have real science. They wanted to help their dogs. And in Halle Berry's case, doing pet wellness, preventative pet care, which was very early on in the industry's trends. And Ziggy Marley had the same idea. He adopted a pet during the pandemic, and he wanted a grooming line that was clean and good for the ocean, wouldn't harm the ocean. So we created that with his input. It has seed oil for Ziggy, but it is a really incredible line, and all our products carry that one vision that it's human grade. It's tested on humans first. You can use it with your dog. The shampoo, the elixirs, the food, everything is fine to eat and consume and share. And the quality of the ingredients and clean, transparent ingredients is really important for our brand.
I love how it's tested on humans. I love my dogs first.
We don't want to risk anything for our dogs.
Nothing important, just humans. And I also love your grit and determination. You have made it through more sticky and difficult situations than anybody else I've ever met. Like, and you do it with a smile and you do it with a determination. And I see it no matter how difficult it's been, and every early stage startup journey is difficult, but no matter how hard it's been, there have always been that steely-eyed determination that I know for a fact you're going to find a way through it. And you always have. Talk to me about how that feels.
I think everyone is always telling me, you're working so much, how can you do all that? And I think it's not really work, because I love what I do. I love dogs, and seeing them happy is, I just adopted a second dog. So it's really a passion project. And just the industry itself, it's kind of, I always compare it to the beauty industry 20 years back, when there was no innovation. There were just these big strategics that rule the industry, and pet is evolving into much more startups, yes, but still it's at the very beginning of innovation and disruption, and that's the fun part of seeing that happening, and it's growing. I mean, just if you guys don't know how big the pet industry is, it's just 125 billion last year, but it's supposed to grow to a global market of 500 billion by 2030. And it's mainly pet food is the biggest category here.
Wow.
But people, they're adopting the dogs. They are family now. So that's why I want to build a brand that you can share and trust with your whole family, and not just your dog.
That's a beautiful thing. And it's true. When you truly love something, you never work a day in your life. And you prove that. But I do also believe there's something to how you deal with that extra pressure when things are really tough, and you would rather do the beautiful things about helping our pets rather than the tough things, but you do them with such a grace and such an ease. And it's very seldom I call this out in a podcast, because you just have that special extra thing that allows you to get through what most other folks don't. And I mention it because as an investor looking in at this interview, it's important. Everybody has ideas. Plenty of people have ideas that they can start off companies. Plenty of people have ideas that they can start off companies and they can actually generate some revenue. Hardly anybody has the capacity to withstand the obstacles that you've withstood yourself. So it's a really important factor. And I would add on top of that is like how you've dealt with investors. You've done an amazing job with investors, taking it from at the beginning, a product which is hard to get investment for. I think as you're developing the dog food now, it's becoming much, much easier and people can see it as a far bigger market. But you were raising money way before then. Talk to us about the money that you've raised. I mean, you don't have to name names of investors, but if you'd like to, you can as well. And kind of what that journey has been like, not only in the past, but also going forward.
Yeah, I mean, we raised, and it's always been struggling. I mean, raising money is never the pleasure of a founder, but it's a needed thing. If you want to grow and compete with your competitors, you better raise as much money as they do to be fast. We did a lot of angel money in the beginning, and your program, I mean, you were the first institutional investor, and the program with Expert Dojo helped us a lot how to pitch and get in front of investors. A lot of angels, until we then finally got that one big fund that was the one that believed in us. They are out of the pet food industry, which is even more good for us. But they started to put the real money in twice and supported us. They gave us the knowledge and manpower behind to actually manufacture that food and have all the guidelines and regulatory in place without hiring 50 people, which is really, I think that is sometimes more important than just money for a startup, to really get those expertise and those people behind you that can help you. And you can call at night and say, I'm not sure is this going to work. And they will be like, yes, you're doing the right thing. And that was a lot of support. So I feel like every startup raising money need that one person to believe in, that really, that other investors can call, and they seasoned investors. They have a big fund, invest in a lot of startups, a lot of women. So that's another really great point I have to mention. With it's the same as Expert Dojo. You really diversify your investments, which is fantastic.
We just invest in founders with a more proven probability of success.
That must be a woman.
That must be a woman. I mean, it's not that hard. Like, would we like to make more money? Okay, invest in a woman. Let's just do that. I mean, and people will like us as well, even though we're just doing it because they're better. Okay, I'll take it. Yes. Yeah, but no, it's great. And you've raised a couple of $1 million and you've done, like I said, an incredible job at like all levels there. What comes next? You've taken the dog food, you've got manufacturer. Obviously, it's your secret sauce. You've got this incredible shelf-stable dog food, which is just you cannot find elsewhere. That was the real innovation. Talk to us about some of the other innovations that you've put in there. Talk to us about, I remember the first production you did was immediately sold out and gone. Talk to us about what comes over the next 12 months, and especially what kind of money you're going to be raising to help make sure this happens the way it should do.
Yeah, I mean, it started with an idea to avoid your freezer space being fully full with fresh dog food. That was the only way you could do it with human grade dog food. As you know, the big ones like Farmer's Dog and Ollie's, and they're all here on the show with us, they have to use freezer space. So they kind of have to stay with their DTC model because the stores don't want to put more stuff in the freezer. And for me, it was devastating. My husband would continuously forget to thaw the food up and put it in the microwave, and it was not a good smell. So I wanted to find a solution for that, which now is a patent pending technology. It was really tough to find anyone that would touch human grade ingredients, put it in a glass jar in a USDA facility that is making pet food. So all these puzzle things took us nearly 2 years to get the process through FDA approval, patents filed, and find a manufacturer that on a smaller scale start with us. We found them in Seattle, and yes, the first production was sold out before we even produced it at Super Zoo because everyone was amazed with the transparency of the glass, the food looks really delicious. It is good. I'm eating it constantly on every show we go to. And I have a funny story about that too. But it's just different because we only use 8 ingredients. It's still compliant and complete by AFCO guidelines, which compares to if you cook for your dog, it's not complete. So you don't know, does your dog really get all the nutrition? We made this happen with a PhD nutritionist on board that worked for Hills before, that really formulated that on point. And now what comes next, we're scaling. We're moving to a bigger facility in Canada with more quality of the meat from Canadian suppliers, and also really automating the process of production. They actually partners, so they investing in us as well, which will probably, like every investor, that the supply chain is secured. They like the idea of what we're doing. As I said, we just onboarding. So this year something really nice happened. We got voted to be one of the winners of the Purina Innovation Prize, sponsored by Purina Nestle, which gives us a lot of opportunities in my industry, which is one of them, onboarding with the biggest distributor nationwide for specialty pet and grocery, but also contact into the grocery outlets like Whole Foods and Sprouts and the natural grocery channel through their network. It's just expediting our process, which is great.
Absolutely.
And
fantastic.
what comes next as a pet food outlook is, and what we're working towards is having alternative proteins in our diets, moving into cultured meat by hopefully end of 2024, to not kill animals to feed them. I think that's the future. I'm coming from the cell cultured space, so I totally believe in that. And I think pets are first before humans, anywhere they are. But in this way, I think that it's easier to convince a dog to eat that than a human.
Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. And then, so what do you need fundraise wise to get you there?
So we are kind of in between. We have a lot of offers from big funds and strategic partners to raise our Series A. I would love to find a lead because all of these are followers. So if we would find a lead for our Series A, we would be settled for that. Now we have a small bridge round open that we're closing very soon for just scaling in the meantime our distribution network and launching it into all the specialty pet stores. But we're really focusing on finding a lead for our Series A.
I think that's great timing. I'm so excited. Like, you've worked so incredibly hard to get to where you are. You know, not just everything you've done within the personalities, all the Instagram lives, the shows you've gone to, the incredible booths that you've created in the shows. I know you give your husband a tough time because of the old dog food and not throwing it out, but he's also a golden human being, because I don't know how many things he's been involved, but actually helping being your top supporting actor in every single movie that you've gone to with this. Like, it's just a great family effort. And that's not even to mention your daughter who's out there making sure you're good as well. So I kind of look at this now and say, right, we have a phenomenal product. It's a proven product. We have a celebrity endorsed product. We have incredibly strong growth coming through. We have production, which is already in place. We have validation within the retail stores that everybody loves this. We actually don't really have competition with anything like the product that you have in place. All of these things are already clear. All I really want to focus on now, and I have one final question, which we're going to get to, which I think you're going to really enjoy, but I really want to focus on the team. How do you build the team out for the Series A? Because an investor will have listened to what you just said and thought, I like this. Because as an investor, really there's only one objective for a founder, and that is to get to the next round as quickly as possible. That's all, like nothing else. If you're investing in a pre-seed, your only objective is for them to get to seed, because you know that if somebody puts money in at seed, there was a 500 pre-seed and let's say $1 million or a 2 million seed, you know that the people who invested in at seed, they only have one objective, right? They just want to get the founder to the next round, because so everybody's passing the baton on. So one of the most lucrative rounds for an investor is to get in at seed or seed bridge before you go to A. Because how much will you be raising at A, by the way?
About 10 to 12 million.
Okay. So if you're raising a 10 to 12 million, it's inferred that the valuation is going to be 3 to 4 to 5 times that. That's just the standard. It can't be any less or it doesn't work, right? So when somebody's coming in at a bridge round, and we're not going to talk about the terms here, that can be discussed individually with Anja. The objective is that you get there. So everything else every other box that I just ticked there, an investor is going to look at and say, fair enough, Brian, you got that. All of those are good to get to A. Talk to us about the team that you're going to have in place to make sure that the funder that puts money into A is going to feel comfortable that you have what it takes to take it all the way to B.
Yeah, I think that's a really important part, because till now, we have our people and we have the external group of one of our investment funds, but we will build our team out with a COO, my number 2 in the business that we're right now recruiting and looking for, ideally out of the food or pet industry, that has a financial background. And I think that's our missing number 2 that we right now outsourcing through our investor, and helped us a lot to clean everything up and made everything button proof, which is really good. But I need someone at my side with all this going on and all the trade shows, as you said, and we are speaking everywhere. Someone that has really control about the supply and operation. We did onboard a really great marketing team that has been showing the last 2 years working with us. And she's just everything from email to SMS marketing, overlooking our paid media, which is outsourced, and does all the content. If you look at our Instagram, we're growing week by week. We have 25,000 followers now that are not bought, that are really growing organically. And that she does a great job. We're just building out our sales team. We have been working with one guy. We will extend that to recruit a second or third person in different regions. Even if we're onboarding with a big distributor, they still require an in-house sales team that just navigates all those orders. And those of you that know CPG, it is kind of overwhelming getting all these orders from stores and here and there. And all of a sudden there's a store with 100 stores and 200 stores. And there's a lot of logistics needed and management on the sales side. So we're excited to extend our sales team from 1 to probably 3 people. We have a great lawyer. We have a CPL. So we are all set on our distribution and logistics side, and the supply chain, which is now becoming our partner, which I think is equally important in this whole team building. We do have Nando, my chief tasting officer, not to forget, he's our bulldog. So he has to test every product, which is also a very important job. So I think we once we recruited that one person, and we are in talks with a couple of people, but that has to really be a good fit, because for me, that is someone has to follow the vision and really live this dream as we do.
I love that. And the last question I'm going to ask, well, first of all, I'm going to ask you to give your email details so that people can know how to contact you. But then after that, the last question I'm going to ask is, it is 5 years in the future, not 10, because I don't think you need 10, but it's 5 years in the future, and you're in an interview with Bloomberg, and the interviewer in Bloomberg is talking to you about the magnificent exit that you had. And that person is talking about the price that you exited for. They're talking about, did you get acquired or did you go IPO? They're talking about what you actually created, what the product developed into from where it was today, and what your impact on dogs and on the world in general is going to be. But before we get to that, first of all, let's just share your contact details so people are able to contact you, especially investors.
Yeah, but especially the best way is my email, Anja, ANJA, @happybond.com. Just write me if you have any questions. I'm happy to share terms and decks and more details about our race or products for your dogs.
Very good. So now I'm going to put on my pretend tie and my pretend suit, and I'm a pretend very high-end person, and I'm interviewing you from Bloomberg, and I'm congratulating you, and I'm kind of groveling at the same time because I'm so in awe that I'm actually finally with the CEO of HAPPYBOND, who've had this magnificent exit. So tell us your story. in a minute or two.
How that all happened? Well, I mean, we
What did
building a
you do?
brand, right? We build a brand that is comparable in the human space to Honest or Method, with all their products in one vision and mission that you can trust for your pet. We will bring technology in there so you can monitor your dog's health, just keep them healthy, extend that health span to live longer with your dog, and be a brand that you find everywhere. But I don't want to lose the quality and vision with being acquired. So there has to be, it has to live on with the next generation for us. And there are great partners that we could think of doing that for sure. The question is, you want to hear what I'm going to do next with all that money I made? I'll probably invest in women and build the biggest farm for rescue dogs and horses. that will be that would be my vision.
I love that.
And educate founders at that ranch about how to get investment and how to build your company and what is important. Just like a retreat a little bit.
I love this. And your true love for animals and pets and dogs like shines through every single time. The thing that I took a few things from what you just said there. Like the first is that the most important thing to you is that your quality of HAPPYBOND, it shines through on every single level, and that it's never compromised, it's never changed, it's never something that's up for sale. The quality will continue to improve. And the other thing that shone through from what you said earlier on is your commitment to being able to find substitutes as well within dog food, whereby the dogs can remain extremely healthy and have something delicious, which will be just as good for them as the protein that they're taking right now. The other thing that came through is the fact that you're going to make sure that it's not just about feeding them better and having them happier. It's about having dogs live longer and having them healthier while they live longer. And that's all of the other components as well that we haven't even really talked about, such as the collagen and the healthy ingredients that Anja puts into all of the dog food that's there. So do I believe that you're going to build a monster company and it's going to come to fruition within the next 3 to 5 years? I 100%. I would put money, I would put the car on it that you're going to do it. And so for all investors who are out there, you're looking at a very smug and happy investor because we've got money in Anja and her team, and we're really happy with everything that she's building. Anyone who wants to reach out to me anytime and have a discussion about past, present, or future, I'll happily do it anytime. You can just reach out to Brian at expertdojo.com. And otherwise, I'll just finish this talk with wishing Anja all the very best with everything she's going to achieve in the future.
Thank you so much.